Hi, my name is Paul Daly and welcome to your instructional DVD. We're putting this together to help you understand how your dogs work mentally and how you need to be to control their behaviour. Whenever we go out on consults, behavioural consults, basic obedience, the first thing I look at is your lead walking. And lead walking to me is the most important part, because it is the most important part of your dog's life. When you're walking your dog, it has to be structured. Okay, so the first thing we're going to show you on this DVD is how to walk a dog properly. There's so many leads and collars out there that you can use. You can use head harnesses, you can use Gen Cons, you can use a normal lead and collar. However, I tend to stick with the slip lead. I've always used the slip lead, but you have to use them properly. Not used properly, they can go against what you're trying to do, because the dog will pull on them. So I use them in the way that is nice and gentle, and it stays up on top of their neck. So it comes up to the top end of their neck, just here behind their ears, and then it can slip up and down. Now if I just kind of bring this in slightly to show you, the way to use it is, you'll see, if you buy one of these off my website or you buy them from a shop, you'll see a little bit like this. Now this has to face towards you. This bit here has to be on your side if you're walking your dog on this heel. Then obviously vice versa, okay, because of the fact that it will slip up and down. Okay, it will slip up and down from there, and it won't cause it to jam, it won't cause it to choke your dog. If you have it that way, like that, so that bit there is facing away from you, as you pull up, this will bend over here and it will not release. That's when you end up choking your dog. Okay, so we always make sure that this bit is facing you. Okay, and then open it up and then straight over the dog's head. Okay, so I've shown you the slip lead, I've shown you how it works, and now I'm going to show you how it actually works on a dog. We have a dog here that does pull on the lead, and then I'm going to show you how it pulls on the lead and why it's pulling on the lead, and then I'm going to readjust the lead and I'm going to work it in the way that I work it, and then you'll see the difference in seconds on how the slip lead works. Okay, so there's your dog pulling on the lead. I have no control whatsoever of this dog. It's just pulling away on the end of the lead. Now, I'll bring the dog back into the heel. I'm going to ask the dog to sit, and then all I do is just bring the slip lead up high underneath the dog's neck. Yeah, the dog will fight you. We don't worry too much about that. Just going to fight it a little bit, and I'm going to drop this little tag down here, and then you'll see the difference. Now I have full control of the dog. As I'm walking the dog, I have full control just by using it simply by moving that lead up. The dog responds, the dog walks with me, and the dog is starting to learn to be by the heel. And we come to a stop and we ask the dog to sit. Okay. What I want to show you also is how loose you can actually use the slip lead. As you saw before, the dog was pulling ahead of me and I was holding on to this bit, you know, and a lot of people get into that habit of just holding this bit and putting their hand through there, reeling their hand around there, because they cannot control the dog when they pull ahead of them. What I want to show you is that if a dog pulls ahead of you with the slip lead on like this, they cannot pull you. You can still hold with 2 fingers, okay? So it's a simple 2 fingers, my arm's nice and loose, this arm is nice and loose, I'm walking the dog starts to calm down, and then I can control if the dog pulls forward, just by using the lead with 2 fingers. Okay? Any dog, if you put this on properly and use it properly, it'll work. So once you've got your dog walking nice to heel on the slip lead and you're more relaxed, as you can see, this dog's starting to relax now, and he's starting to wait for my command. I introduced the loose lead. Now loose lead is not allowing the dog back out there and not allowing him to pull forward again. Loose lead is just holding the lead here, but still encouraging your dog and nurturing your dog still to walk to your heel. Okay, so it's the start off, we keep him to the heel, we keep him in the sit position, I stand to his heel, I hold on to the lead as I was, but hold on to this bit as well. As I move off, I just give him a quick check just to keep him into the lead, keep him into the heel. As I turn, I say turn. As he turns, he pulls forward slightly, I give him a quick check, he pulls forward, and then once he's walking nice, I can release the lead. That means that he is on loose lead, now walking to the heel. Quick check, and everything's done nice and slowly. Now ask him to turn, and there he is. He starts to pull forward. When they turn, he starts to pull forward. All I do is give him a quick check upwards. And then when I stop, I ask him to sit. And there it is. It's as simple as that. Okay, so once you've mastered your lead walking, once you've spent the next 2 weeks to a month actually lead walking them and walking them to your heel, then you can approach the off-lead stuff. Do not approach the off-lead stuff like a lot of people I come across. They go down the park, they get a brand new dog, they go down the park, they let them off, and there's no recall, there's no walking to heel, the dog is just running riot. What you want your dog to do is actually walk with you, whether on lead or off lead. But you have to nurture that into your dog. You have to practice that. So all I say is practice the lead walking first. Get them walking nice tight lead, loose lead, and then you can approach the off lead. Okay, so for this purpose, I'm actually going to now change a dog. I'm going to change the dog over, and I'm going to show you a dog that I've been working for and working with for a long, long time. Okay, we'll swap dogs now. Now remember, when you have mastered the lead walking, the tight lead and the loose lead, then you want to be looking at doing the off lead. 2 weeks of working tight lead and loose lead, you should be able to start looking at off lead. A lot of people get into the trap of getting a dog, go down the park and just letting them off the lead. Then the dogs run riot. Okay, you've got no recall, you've got no heel work. You want to be practicing that and nurturing that in the dog before you let them off lead. So, whenever you go down the park, nurture it, practice it and practice it and practice it. 2 weeks down the line, try it. Okay, the best way to start it is to actually just drop lead. It's what I call drop lead. Okay, basically what you do, if I just bring him back up, I ask him to sit. I'm going to walk him off, I'm going to keep him on the tight lead, walking up, then I'm going to bring him to loose lead, and then I'm going to do drop lead. Okay, so we start on the tight lead. Walk him up. Then turn. Then on the loose lead. So he's walking nice there to my heel. And then going back up, what I do, I get some kind of focus. So if I've got no focus in the dog, what I'll do, I'll use tennis ball, I'll use something like that. I'll just show him I've got it and then put it back in my pocket. Then I'll drop the lead. Come. Come. I'll ask him to heel, I'll ask him to turn. Come. 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 Then I'll ask him to heel. I'll ask him to heel with me, but I've still got the control. He still thinks that he's on lead. And I'll pick up the lead, And I'll do that 3-4 times before I actually take that lead off and actually then start to practice him with the off lead. Okay, so when it does come to letting your dog off lead, when you take off the lead, you want to make sure that the dog sits and waits for you to give them the next command. A lot of people, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people will take the lead off and off goes the dog. What you want the dog to do is some basic obedience like sit and wait while I take that lead off. So I ask him to sit and wait. I release the lead, wait. I ask him to wait, and I ask him to stay there. Now, the reason I ask him to stay there is because I want him to stay there. I want him to relax before I actually start to walk off. If I don't get him in relaxed state, he's just going to run off. Stage to that is we have the dog sitting there. I've had him sitting here for a while now. The next stage is now to walk off, keeping him with me. Like I said earlier, is that I need some focus. If I haven't got a dog with focus, I'll use tennis ball, I'll use a dummy, I'll use a flinger, I'll use something to get that dog's attention. Because I know when I walk off, the dog is going to follow me somewhere within this vicinity. He's going to be with me. Okay? So as I walk off, I ask him to follow. I put the ball back in my pocket and say, come to here. As I ask him to come into the heel, he comes into the heel, but he knows I've got the ball. He knows I've got something for him. So as I stop, I ask him to sit, and then I can give him his ball. That's his reward. It's not all about food reward. It's about toy reward or anything. He can just wander off now and play with that ball. Okay, even though in 2 weeks' time and you've started to kind of progress forward a little bit, you may still be struggling with the slip lead. The reason a lot of people struggle with the slip lead is because they don't check upwards. They check back. Once you check back, if I just check him back there, what it does, it allows the slip lead to ride back down their neck. What they don't do then is actually stop, ask the dog to sit and readjust. Okay? The reason you readjust is because it will slip up and down their neck. Okay, so after 2 weeks of working with them on tight lead, loose lead, and you're still struggling, so a lot of people will phone me back and they will say, I'm still struggling with the lead, it's riding down their neck. The reason it's riding down their neck is because you're not keeping it high up here and you're probably pulling back slightly. The dog's pulling ahead and all you're doing is pulling back. Once you pull back, you can see there the lead starts to ride back down their neck. Once it rides back down their neck, then as you walk off, they are back into pulling mode. So what you need to do is either sit them down, readjust the lead and put it back up on the top end of the neck, or there is another way of using it if they really persist on actually pulling, is to loosen it off, drop it down. If I just turn his head slightly, hold the dog, twist into a figure of 8, over his nose, and then back up to the top. What this does, it sits on his nose and it's governed by his nose, so it doesn't pull too tight here, but it also keeps the lead up high on his neck. That gives me an extra bit of control. So as I walk off, that lead will not drop down on his neck. As I stop, I ask him to sit, and there he is walking nice to the heel. Not pulling, lead's not moving, it's staying in the same place. And again, all it is work this for 2 weeks. Then you can just drop it off, back up onto the top end of his neck and see how he walks. The lead is a tool. A lot of people don't use it as a tool. It is just a tool to nurture your dog, to train your dog to walk nice to heel. Whether on lead or off lead, they should be walking nice to your heel. Okay, so So if you do go down the line of using the Gen Con, you've got to remember that some dogs, like the one you just saw before, will accept it straight away. Other dogs will not accept it straight away. You have to work them through the fight. A lot of people don't like to work their dog through the fight. I have no problems with it because I know it's going to be better for the dog to stop pulling than what it is for them to just continue pulling and pulling on their neck and choking. So what we get is we ask the dog to sit and drop the lead. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the Gen Con on. So again, it comes down to a twist, up over the nose, and this is where the dog starts to fight. Just here is where my dog starts to fight. Now as soon as I get it on, what you'll probably see is the jumping around. Okay. What I'm waiting for now is just for the dog to calm down. I'm doing nothing with the lead. All I'm doing is holding the lead. I'm allowing the dog to work through the fight without biting too much of the lead. Once the dog calms down, then I'll stand there and go, well done. So I'll wait for the dog to calm down and then praise better behaviour. I can't work the dog through by just giving it treats. I have to wait for the dog to calm down first. Once the dog's calmed down, I start to move forward, only a couple of steps, and I start to move forward. Okay. So again, the dog starts to give me a bit of a fight. I stop, I allow the dog to go through the fight by just holding on to the lead, making sure they don't bite at the lead, because what they'll do, if they bite on the lead, it'll actually tighten up. And then once the dog's calmed down, I move forward. Turn again. And as much as you can, you just keep the dog moving forward. A little bit of fight. The fight starts to dwindle down. Less and less. Each and every time. There's a little bit of fight. All I'm doing is just holding the lead. Once the dog calms down, I move forward. And this generally takes about 5 minutes or so just to work them through. A little bit of a fight. Let the dog work through it. Not harming the dog. Just gently move forward, and there we go. A little bit of fight there, and again, take the lead out of the mouth, and then we move forward. Once the dog realises that you're not going to stop, you're not going to back away, then the dog starts to calm down. Then you're back to 2 fingers, walking the dog nice and happily. And then we ask the dog to sit. And then we give a treat. Well done. Now I know that dog's brain has not shut down. The dog's not frightened of me, the dog's brain's not shut down because it's taking food. Okay? It's how I gauge whether a dog is in nervous, anxious mode, is by giving treat. If it doesn't take the treat, it's in nervous, anxious mode. And then ask the dog to sit. Well done. Okay, so we've come to the end of this instructional DVD on lead walking. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you've learned something. So whatever you do with your dog, and whatever size your dog is, what you've got to remember when you're walking your dog is to remain calm. Whether you're walking 2, 3, 4 dogs, is just remain calm. Make sure that the lead is kept up high on the neck, either that or using the Gen Con, as I've explained earlier. The next DVD is going to be about basic obedience, so please look out for that. I hope you've enjoyed watching. My name is Paul Daly at Canine Coaching.